Hello, my name is Simon Besant, and I'm the head of discipleship and evangelism. And for this purpose today, I'm talking to Ria Delves, and we're talking about transitions, moments of change in our lives. Ria, tell us a bit about you've been through a recent change. I know you work partly with Ministry to Business and Pete Horlock in the Diocese of Manchester. But can you tell us a bit about you've been through a transition in terms of change of job? How was that working out for you?
Yes, so when I made that change, so I left the job towards the end of December 2020 to transition into doing my own business. And I think one of the things I wasn't expecting with the transition was the emotional processing that I would have to do. I just thought, okay, yeah, I'll just move straight into starting the business and be all gung ho. And I remember the first day after my last working day, I got up and I was like, okay, I'm going to get started doing what I need to do. And I just started realizing I was feeling quite morose and despondent and so on. And then I started asking myself, oh, what's going on? And then I realized that I was actually possibly going through a state of grieving. I hadn't realized that, there was going to be that sort of emotional effect. So I think that's one of the biggest things that came out. So even though it was great and I was excited, looking forward to what was coming in, you have the general things about being worried and anxious and doubtful and stuff like that. But I think it was just recognizing the emotional impact of making the change that sort of caught me unawares. And so I had to sort of give myself some time to process through those emotions, realize I had been connected with a particular group of people and environment for the better part of 7.5 to 8 years. And so suddenly leaving that, um, despite whatever, I might have been feeling, that actually was kind of tough. And so I had to go through just that process of realizing that I'm out of that. No, I'm not going to see these people on a regular basis. I'm not going to have that contact and that environment. So that was kind of the biggest thing for me.
Thank you. So, and this happens to you as a Christian, as it happens to everybody. Life changes, and sometimes local churches, if someone gets married or has a baby or something like that, sometimes we do sort of mark those, but we're not so good perhaps with other things in the community or in life and work. So, on reflection, in light of your experience, how do you think a local church might have been able to support you and to sort of mark that change as you seek to follow Christ in the workplace and beyond church?
Yeah. So one of the things that has worked for me was having a community of people around on a more smaller intentional basis. For me personally, I've been aligned with Ministry to Business and Reverend Pete Horlock, and that group has been very instrumental. But I think at the church level, if churches were able to provide some sort of support in terms of systems or structures to enable smaller groups to meet that can help people process through life events. They can have intentional discussions about, in my case, particularly to be work or business, but there might be other life needs and other life cycles that people might be in that a small group can help with. So I think that's one thing churches can do to possibly be a little bit more intentional about supporting members and congregants and parts on their community through different stages in life.
Now, when churches change a vicar or a pastor, we often make a big fuss about that. We're not so good at doing it for the all the normal folks who go out to work or got families, etc. And we mentioned those small groups. Do you think there are other ways in which publicly we can give a way of expressing that so that everyone can see that our local churches actually care about what happens with all the folks, not just on Sunday morning, but in the rest of the week, and even if that is commuting into the centre of Manchester or wherever else it may be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the things is awareness. I'm not sure that necessarily the church, all churches, or in the community at the local church level, is necessarily aware of what all their members are doing, or where they're working, or what their day-to-day or weekly cycle is like. So I think one thing that can help is for churches and members to become more aware of what other people are doing. And I can appreciate that some people may not want to share that as an individual, but obviously it, it will be made open that, you can or not. So maybe just one practical thing could be, I don't know, something like the equivalent of a directory, so that people know, well, this person is doing this job or that job, or people on Sundays get an opportunity to share something about their industry or their job. So I guess it's just kind of becoming more aware of what the different people in your church are doing, and just looking for ways to be able to celebrate that and to share that with the wider community.
Maybe a shift in our focus. Ria, thanks for sharing that with me, and I hope God blesses you in your new development, and it's great for you. Okay, thank you very much.
Simon. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.